Ladies and gentlemen, we'd now like to welcome for our ceremonial puck drop, Dr. Barry Ira from Arrow Laser Eye Center. And to join our special guests at center ice, we'd like to welcome from the Leafs, Andrew Gourlay. And from the Sens, Matt Babineau. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you once again here to the Mattamy Athletic Center at Toronto Metropolitan University for this Canadian Blind Hockey Tournament. In this open division matchup, we have the Leafs in the black jerseys and the Senators in the yellow.
Welcome everyone, it's open division hockey action between the Sens and the Leafs. I'm Matthew Sucrum alongside Courtney Kenny. We thank you for joining us for this game of the 2025 Canadian Blind Hockey Tournament. Watching along on YouTube, the chat is open. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on. And we love to interact with you on there. It's been an awesome tournament so far. And again, this is the open division. Sens are wearing the yellow jerseys. The Leafs are wearing black jerseys. And we are underway for period number one. It's the Sens attacking here. This is Ruby Coleman getting to the puck, plays it back to the point to Adam Young. He fires it in high. Off the corner, Matt Babineau plays it in behind the net for Yan Gobey. Gobey centers it, and it's over the net, off the stick of Matt Babineau. Another puck that went through the slot, rolling on its side, and the Leafs get it out. That was on the stick of Andrew Gourlay, who ran that one down. Now the Leafs playing it from their own end. Gourlay up over the blue line. Gourlay gets it right back on his stick. Plays it up ahead to Graham Foxcroft. Foxcroft to the middle, stolen by Ruby Coleman. Ruby Coleman tries to feed it across to the right side looking for Babineau, but a nice job by the Leafs to get in the way of that play, and it's cleared out. We thank you for following along, whether this is the first game of the tournament you're tuning into or you've been watching all day. Not a bad way to spend the day. Watching all the action on the Blind Hockey Tournament YouTube channel. This is Trajan Hansman. Plays it to the point for Hillary Scanlon. She gives it up to Nathan Tree. Back to Scanlon. It's just out of her reach. And taking a wild hack at it was Edward Laba of the Sens, but can't move it past Scanlon. That allows the Leafs to get it towards the net. Backhanded shot. Goes behind the net off the stick of Hansman. At the point, Leafs keep it in. Backhanded in by Corbin Johnson. Picked up by the Sens, looking to clear. Scanlon does a good job to keep it in at the blue line. Hansman looking to center that one. Shot in by Tree, but it's blocked. And the Sens come out of the zone with the puck. Aiden McCowan all the way in. Has to turn back. Needs to look for the pass. McCowan feeds it off the left side boards. And now Scanlon digging away at it, battling Megan Mahan. That one's picked up and cleared out of the zone.
Getting a little bit of reaction, Matt, on YouTube. We're getting a CNIB Smart Life Victoria saying, let's go Curtis and let's go Corbin too. We're having James, who's watching from the UK. And Bennett Pick saying Curtis the GOAT in all capitals. So we know who Bennett is cheering for.
In the UK, what's 9:45 over there right now? So thanks for staying up late, James, watching from the UK. I mean, that's late for me. I'm usually in bed by then.
Yeah, you're getting pretty tired last night around then. You're getting cranky.
There's a shot going in. It's wide.
Probably the lack of food too.
That's it was a long day getting down here from North Bay and getting set up, but very thankful to be here. And then, yeah, the restaurant we picked was just having kitchen issues, so. But they took care of us.
The food was good once we got it.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Salman also saying, let's go Adam, Matt, and Corbin.
Play inside the Leaf zone. I don't think we've had a whistle yet through the first 4:15 of this game. Curtis Ruddle coming down. Drops it back to the half boards on the stick of Gourlay. Gourlay's shot gets blocked at the blue line. Trying to hold on to that one. The backhand is blocked. And now it's Coleman looking to feed it up ahead on the stick of Babineau. Babineau, who almost had a goal earlier in the contest. Babineau to Coleman, scores, and the Leafs take the Sens take the lead 1-0 with 10:20 to play in the first period.
Just a little bit of a breakdown there at the blue line by the Leafs in the offensive zone that led to a 2-on-0 and eventually led to that goal as the Sens go ahead. And not much that they can do, the Leafs that is, when you kind of have a 2-on-0 going the other way. It's a bit tough to stop that. Also, James is saying it's 7:45 in the UK right now, so.
Oh, they're only 4 hours ahead?
It's a little wild to think about, eh? Said he played last year.
That was way off.
But couldn't come this year, unfortunately. Hopefully, he'll join again next year, and let's go Leafs.
And a play in front of the net, and it looks like it got under the glove of the Sens goalie, David Brown, and I think it's in, but again, it's stuck on the line from what we can see up here, so we'll wait for the official announcement, and it's going to be no goal, so the Leafs not tying that game just yet.
Would have been huge for the Leafs to score one that quickly after allowing the goal previous. But here we are, still down 1-0 with 9 minutes left in this first period. Also, Bennett saying a Corbin goal would be massive, and Lana Rutty is saying go Leafs. Auntie Lana is cheering from Saskatoon.
And that's the amazing thing again about this tournament. We've got players literally from all over the world. In our last game, we had a young gentleman from Finland as that puck is backhanded off the near side to the far side. It flips back over to the near side, and they can't get towards the net. Scanlon with the shot. It goes off a skate in front. Wow, that puck, like a rainbow, back and forth over the crossbar, over the crease. Now at the point. Shot comes in, and that one just wide. There was a bit of a open gap on the glove side of goaltender David Brown, but it just went wide of the net. Scanlon again from the point, firing in. Bouncing puck, controlled off the end boards by Johnson. Johnson behind the net. Couple whacks at it, and the Sens get some clearance, and it will be moved out of the zone as Aiden McCowan is able to get it out.
A little bit funny on that last play. Usually you hear the fans yelling shoot, but you heard a lot of the players yelling shoot.
That's right. Dumped in by Adam Young and fired right back out by the Leafs. This one might go all the way. It does. And icing will be called. 7:15 to play in the first period. It's a 1-0 lead for the Sens over the Leafs. The Battle of Ontario in an all-new format here.
Well, Matt, you and I were talking about this along with Ben and Mike as we came in. Is that we didn't really know what to expect out of this tournament. And I got to say, the hockey through the first bit of this day, as we're almost about basketball, we're almost 3/4 of the way through the first day, has been absolutely nothing short of fantastic. And really credit to these players and the athleticism to be able to put on quite the show that they have so far.
There's a shot save made by Aaron Prevost, and he'll hold on to it for a stoppage in play. Yeah, you're right, and we've got 2 games left on the docket. You've got the Masters division, and that is the first time ever that there will be a Masters division game here at the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament. And this is for the players that started playing 12 years ago. It might be a slightly bit older now when they started playing 12 years ago, but that's for 45 and up. So it's going to be players that have, you could call them veterans of the blind hockey game. And they'll be taking part in that Masters division. And then there will be a girls and women's blind hockey showcase game at 5:30 to wrap up the festivities on day 1. And then we are right back here from the Mattamy Athletic Center. We start with this, the open division tomorrow. Habs and Sens, bright and early, 9 o'clock. Here's a 2-on-1 the other way. Feeding it in front, they score. Andrew Gourlay with the goal. And it's 1-1 with about 5.5 to play in the first period.
What a play on the assist as well. I missed who got it, but just the play to get down the ice, as I appreciate them playing Hall & Oates as the goal song for the Leafs.
Fantastic.
But getting all the way down the ice to make that play happen and then to shoot it out front and get Gourlay wide open in front of the net. What an absolutely fantastic play to tie this game up at 1.
Bennett Pick says great music selection as well.
Well, you can thank Brian Floyd for that.
There's a shot in. That one just wide of the net. Now on the near side boards. Hansman trying to get away from a couple of attacking Sens players. Hansman still with the puck. Drops it back to the stick of Ruddle. Ruddle to the left side. Dished in from the defense. Played behind the net. Hansman trying to get it over to Ruddle. Good play by the Sens to just buckle down defensively and get rid of that puck out of their area. So again, a girls and women's blind hockey showcase game coming up at 5:30. That follows the Masters division game at 4. Here's a 3-on-2 attempt for the Leafs, but it's knocked away off the stick of Ruddle.
Well, we are a little bit behind on the schedule. It is 3:53
right
now,
I guess
so
yeah.
I don't think it's happening at 4. Unless something drastic happens here.
Just stay tuned to the YouTube page, and you'll know when the games get tuned up, as the links go live about 5 minutes before the game starts. So. These teams are actually playing a couple of games tomorrow. You've got Habs and Sens coming up at 9, Canucks and Leafs coming up at 10 a.m. And then Habs against Leafs again at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then we end the day with the Canucks and Sens at 6 o'clock. So these athletes playing a lot of puck this weekend.
Yeah, and there is a gold medal game and a bronze medal game, so I guess you do have to play every team to determine
That's right.
who's going to get to play in all those.
There's a shot that gets blocked. Again, this is open division, so it's a mix of genders. There's a shot from the slot. They score. Matt Babineau puts it in, and the Sens regain the lead. It's 2-1.
And that's just a good goal by Babineau there to be on the doorstep as the puck just squeaked loose right there, right in the slot. And for Prevost, there wasn't much that he could do on that one as the puck slid behind him and into the back of his net. But again, Babineau in the right spot at the right time as the puck came loose. And he's able to put the Sens up here 2-1 with about 2:15 left in this opening frame.
The Sens open the scoring at the 10:20 mark. They regain the lead with just over 2 minutes to play. And Babineau had a couple of chances earlier in the game too. And that time he converts, and now it's the Sens attacking again. Puck knocked loose. This will go the length of the ice, and icing will be called. And again, it's 15 minutes on the clock, but it is run time for these open divisions.
Yeah, it's like a football game, except for there's no managing the clock by putting the ball out of bounds.
That's right.
No, again, another great game of hockey here in front of us at the old Maple Leaf Gardens. There's been great hockey all day long. Nothing we can do, or nothing we can argue with when it comes to the quality of hockey down here at the blind hockey or Canadian blind hockey tournament.
Tammy Adams watching from Toronto. Hi, Tammy. Adrian Crow wants to know how the teams were selected. And yeah, if you log on and go to the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament website, all the information will be there for you. And you can get involved in grassroots programs and find a local team. There's about 20 programs across the country in Canada, and there's also several in the United States as well. And so there are lots of ways to get involved. Just log on. And all the information will be there. There's also some contact information. You can get in contact with some of the organizers. That puck flipped out into the neutral zone. The Sens chase that one down. Now onto the stick of Yan Gobey. Dishing that one off to Aiden McCowan. The shot, it goes off the mask of the goaltender, Aaron Prevost. Still loose in front, backhanded chance stopped. The rebound is kicked away, and the buzzer may have just saved the Leafs there as the Sens were, well, buzzing around the net. And they will exit the first period with a 2-1 lead, Courtney.
Very exciting first period here between the Sens and the Leafs, and the Leafs coming back to tie it just for the Sens to be able to take off and go ahead again. But we'll take a quick break here before we come back for period number 2 between the Sens and Leafs here at the Mattamy Athletic Center.
Welcome back. Second period underway from the Mattamy Athletic Center. Matt Sukram with you here alongside Courtney Kenny. The Sens with a 2-1 lead over the Leafs. I'm sure that's a score that's been repeated in this building a few times.
Yeah, just a couple of times, I would imagine. Although when you think about it, the Sens were only early around for about 6-7 years before this. Oh, the old lady on Carlton Street.
Yeah, I guess they never
down.
had a playoff series against each other in this building. Most of that would have taken place at the ACC.
Yeah, now Scotiabank Arena.
There you go.
You can now go on tours of Scotiabank Arena, though, and if the Leafs or Raptors aren't playing, you get to go into the dressing rooms.
That is pretty cool, actually.
For $20.
Oh, that's a steal.
Yeah, I think
we should maybe go do that during our downtime.
That's what I was looking at earlier, actually, in the last game, but it's not. They don't have it till Sunday at like 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Oh well, next time. Next time we're down in Toronto, we'll go do that. I got to, as a quick aside, I won a writing contest when I was in high school. and I got to be a press reporter at a Raptors game, and that kind of set me on my broadcasting journalism journey, actually. So I got to watch as that one gets sent into the front of the net. That is blocked by David Brown, a high stick as it made contact with the head of one of the Leafs players, and that will send one of the Sens to the box, and it's going to be Lorenzo Gamarioli just to finish that. So yeah, I got to be a press reporter at the Raptors game, so I got to go and watch their practice from courtside and ask a couple of questions, and then I got to see all the backstage stuff, eat in the media room before the game, and then I got to be involved in the post-game press conference with the then coach. This will date me because I said it was when I was in high school, so it was then coach Sam Mitchell. So that tells you how long ago that was.
Oh yeah, Matt.
There's a shot in off the post. Yeah, Jermaine O'Neal was playing for the Indiana Pacers against the Raptors in that game.
Chris Bosh would have been on the
Chris
Raptors.
Bosh was on that team, yeah. There's a shot in, another block, and the Sens still can't clear. Big opportunity here for the Leafs on the power play. 1:20 remaining on the man advantage as that one gets out. So the Sens buckling but not bending here. Leafs gain the attacking zone once again. Nice drop pass. From the point, that's Tyler Burke with the shot in, and that one stopped and rolls to the near side corner. Corbin Johnson fires it around the end boards, and that one's cleared. Nice guy, Corbin Johnson. He really tried to help me out with the pronunciations before the game. He knew quite a few of them, and then there was some where he was like, oh, I just met that guy today. I'm not sure what his name is, so. But he said, mine is easy. If you can't get Johnson, you probably shouldn't be broadcasting.
Probably not, yeah.
Here come the Sens back into the zone. "20 seconds remaining on the power play for the Leafs, but they do not want to be spending that power play time in their own end here. 10 seconds to go.
Times in this building too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Quinn, watching from Vancouver, says, go Ruby, go Sean. Is that Quinn Hughes? Who knows? Miss Ricky as well. Get it, Aaron.
That one's sent down the ice, and that will be icing called, so the penalty expired. The Sens dump it down, get called for the icing. And now they have to go right back and win a defensive zone faceoff. Although it does look like they are allowed to have a line change on icing calls here at this level of hockey.
Yeah, they aren't stuck out there like they would be at the OHL or major or junior A or NHL level even.
So the Leafs win another draw. They got possession here. Puck in the slot area. That is Gourlay, who's got the goal so far for the Leafs. Just trying to find some space. Plays it to the near side boards. They chop at it, and out of the zone is Yan Gobey getting it into the Leafs end. Now pass from Babineau back to Gobey. They drop it back. The shot goes high. Off the stick of Aidan McCowan. And Aidan McCowan finds Edward Laba. Laba got it poked off his stick. Laba gets it back, feeds it to the right side. Babineau in control. Babineau, who got the Sens' second goal. Now it's the Leafs the other way. One player in the zone looking for the setup pass. That was Gourlay trying to find somebody in the slot. Nobody there. Now the Leafs trying to take control. The Sens get it out. Gobey with 9:20 to play. Gains the zone. Tried to play that back to McCown. Leafs going the other way now. Handsman. Offside are the Leafs.
So, Matt, I got to ask you then, with your reporter for a day with the Raptors, does Sam Mitchell actually answer your questions, or?
We actually didn't get to. We didn't get to ask Sam Mitchell, so It was like me and like 5 other people from different school boards around the GTA. No, we just got to stand at the back of the room and listen to him be very disappointed. It was the second last game of the season, their final home game of the year. They weren't making the playoffs, and they got destroyed in that game. So I think the Pacers already had like 60 points by halftime. Like,
Oh,
they
wow.
killed them. Yeah, there's a shot on the side of the net, and that one's just wide. Yeah, I think they put up 30 points in each of the first and second quarters. So
That's wild.
yeah, the Raptors, that was a tough year for the Raptors. Bosch was injured for most of that year.
Was that his last year?
No, I
No.
think that was only like his 3rd or 4th season with the Raptors. But I remember Clara Hughes was actually honored before the game because it was right around the time of the Olympics had just ended or something like that, and so she came out with a couple of her gold medals.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
At least someone right that night.
Yeah. Play inside the Sens zone. And the Sens break out of the zone. Matt Babineau, he gets stopped on the half boards, but now in control. Yan Gobey. In behind the net. Leafs trying to get it out. 7 minutes to go in the second period. The Sens hanging on to that 2-1 lead. No goals yet in the second period. A couple penalties. On the far side boards. Looking for some space. Loose puck picked up. Nathan Tree. Tree and Babineau battling behind the net. Tree plays it off the boards. Controlled again by Gobey. Now lets it go past him out to the neutral zone. Edward Laba gets stripped of the puck. Curtis Ruddle into the zone. Off the dump in now, picked up behind the net by Giamarioli. Sending it down the far side boards and clearing it out of the zone was Babineau. At the blue line, Megan Mahone gets it back up to Gobey. Gobey lost the puck, trying to transition into the middle of the ice. Maybe an opening here for the Leafs, and again, the Sens with just the pressure there in that neutral zone, just making it so hard for the Leafs to do anything with the puck, and now it's icing against the Leafs.
Yeah, the Sens have played really good, not giving any space at all to the Leafs out there in this one. Mish F says, go Leafs. Andy, Michelle, Uncle Jeff, and your cousins are watching the Ruddles and teammates from Regina. And then Adrian, talking about shouting out, you talk about Corbin Johnson, shout out to Corbin's music podcast that he produces, Nailing Down the 90s. Guy does everything. Well, I will have to listen to that. You'll have to send along the name because the 90s alternative scene is probably my favorite era of music that we have, right from the beginning with grunge right to the post-grunge era in the late 90s.
We were talking about that at the restaurant we were at last night. There was a lot of... Maybe we were listening to Corbin's music podcast.
That was a great playlist.
It really was.
Made me feel a little old, but at least I wasn't interviewing Sam Mitchell, so.
That's right. Nice move there to get the puck through the feet. Ruby Coleman, who's got an assist already today. She plays that one back to Scarlett Dorn. Dorn puts it on net. Coleman is there in front, but they can't finish off that backdoor play. Some good passing there between Megan Mahone, Ruby Coleman, and Scarlett Dorn.
Very good play there by the Sens. A very dangerous play by the Sens as well. And then a good save by Prevost on that one to stop that. But again, just a couple of good moves. And that's where the interesting, pass before you shoot it play comes into effect. Or else the Sens would have had a breakaway in on all alone on Prevost. And that kind of stops up the play a little bit, but they still made a nice play from something that looked to be so broken at first.
3:45 to play in the second period. There's a shot from just above the circle. The rebound right off the chest of the goaltender Prevost. And another big stop.
Prevost doing everything to keep the Leafs into here the last couple of shifts, making 2 big saves as well. And you know, as a goaltending situation is never easy on a good day, but when you put in the way that they have to play now, where they're basically blindfolded out there, that makes their job that's already intense even more intense.
Picked up in the neutral zone by Hansman. Hansman has had some shifts where he's looked really dangerous in that attacking zone, and he's got some size to him too, so able to keep the puck away, but the pass in the middle is broken up. 3 minutes to play now in this second period. That one dished off to the right side. Babineau trying to put it in front, and that one is under the pads, and it's a goal. The Sens just digging away at that one, and they will take a 3-1 lead with 2:40 to play in the second period. That's just an unfortunate bounce that just skipped by. Prevost thought he had control of the puck, though.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. You know, I just was talking about how great Prevost had been in this period for the Leafs so far, making a couple of big saves. And unfortunately for him, you know, that one just slides underneath him. But the tenacity, too, of the Sens to not let that play die either, you know, and keep whacking away at it until they came away with a big goal. So make that 3-1 with the Sens with just over 2 minutes left in this second period.
And we'll see who gets credited with being the last player to touch the puck for the Sens. Now with under 2 minutes to play. Into the corner, Gobet plays it in front of the net. Kicked out into the neutral zone. And the stick of Graham Foxcroft goes flying there on getting bumped by Adam Young. 1:20 to go. And that puck comes out, and the Leafs might have something developing here. This is Curtis Ruddle, but he overskates the puck. And the Leafs just haven't had the puck luck in this period, have they?
Again, seems to be the story that this has been heard in this walls many times. Us suffering Leafs fans.
Megan Mahone plays it down into the Leafs zone. 1 minute left in the second period here. Leafs up 3-1. Again, just waiting on that confirmation for who got that third goal for the Sens. I am so impressed with the neutral zone play of the Sens here.
Oh yeah, no room to breathe trying to get out of their zone for the Leafs.
And now it's on the stick of Giamaroli. That one knocked away off the end boards, but kept in the zone by Coleman. Coleman tries to feed to the middle. That's blocked. Maybe the Leafs have something going here. Looking for the open space. Hansman going into the zone. Hansman puts on the brakes in the middle. Gets the pass in front. Can they get it back in front? Not enough time left in the period to generate those chances. 2 periods in the books, and the Sens with the lone goal of that second period, giving them the 3-1 lead, Courtney.
Getting another shout out here for Ruby and all the Vancouver Eclipse players as well, but again, the Sens just suffocating the neutral zone and looking fantastic doing so. But that being said, the Sens take a 3-1 lead into the final frame here, and we'll be back with more hockey on the other side of this.
Welcome back. Third period underway. Bennett Pick is hoping for a Leafs comeback.
That's something I hope for most of the time watching the Leafs.
No doubt. I mean, this year it's been a pretty good regular season for them, but
Yeah, that's nothing new.
I know, right?
Ask me how I feel in about a month.
The first 82 games for the Leafs are pretty much practice when you have when you're paying 4 guys to score goals. What is it, 70% of your payroll?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Over 40 million for the 4 guys.
That is insane for one first-round series win. That is, I don't even know.
Oh, it hurts.
Backhanded in, that one gets blocked. Aiden McCown picking it up into the corner. Leafs in control. They send it around the boards, back up to the blue line, and it gets past the stick of Sean Heaslip. Now Heaslip sends it back the other way. 13:40 remaining in this third period. Hansman out of the zone. Hansman down the right side, being pressured here by Megan Mahone. Hansman still with the puck. He's got to get that pass off, though. Nice poke check there by Lorenzo Giamaroli. And that allows the Sens to break out. It's going to be a 2-on-0. Matt Babineau to Gobey. The shot save made. Gobey with the rebound just wide. And we'll see how large that save looms as this third period continues. What a stop by Prevost on the initial shot by Gobey with 12:50 to play in the third period. 3-1 Sens lead.
Absolutely sensational save by Prevost. You could argue Curtis Joseph-like in net there for the Leafs here with a big one there on a 2-on-0.
Hansman gets stopped on that save by David Brown. And again, it's the sustained pressure. We really haven't seen the Leafs have sustained pressure since that first period.
No, they've been a one-and-done team a lot of the times on their rushes, so the Sens keeping all the pressure 200 feet from their own net.
Nice block in front. And now the Leafs looking to clear it, but the Sens continuing now. Dorn to the left side, onto the stick of Mahone. They're digging away. The puck is still loose, and it gets cleared out of that goal mouth area and now sent up ahead. Coming into the zone, Nathan Tree. No, check that. That's Andrew Gourlay. Gourlay plays it to the half boards for Johnson. Johnson behind the net. Nobody there in the black uniforms of the Leafs, and it's cleared out to the neutral zone. 11:45 to play. Bringing it all the way in is Ruby Coleman. Coleman looking for a setup pass here. Gets it to Dorn. The shot save made. Ruby Coleman, they were talking about her in the chat. Adrian Crow saying he's seen Ruby play in New West and says she's a great player. And yeah, I mean, she's been involved in a couple of goals today. This one will be icing against the Leafs with 11:10 to play in the check that, the third period. 3-1 lead for the Sens.
This period's been a lot more back and forth through the first 4 minutes of play, with both teams getting some good looks at both ends. But again, if the Leafs are able to come back in this one, Prevost save a few minutes ago on that 2-on-0, that will have loomed large, Matt, in this one.
Yeah, Ruby Coleman plays for the Vancouver Eclipse, which is a blind hockey program out in British Columbia in Vancouver. There's a shot on net, loose puck at the near side, and that one somehow doesn't go in. And another one coming in, and that one again turned aside by Prevost. The Eclipse play out at the Hillcrest Center Recreation Center. in beautiful Vancouver, BC. And so if anyone else is watching or listening along to this on the YouTube channel and live in the Vancouver area and would like to get involved, you can find their website. As the Leafs go in on a 3-on-1, the chance is broken up. You can also email them at vancouvereclipse@gmail.com for more information. And now there's a shot on net, scores! What a goal by Morielli, excuse me. I got too excited about that one as Lorenzo just lifted that one. There was not a lot of space between the crossbar and the goaltender, and he found it.
And Morelli earlier today in a game in which his team scored 8 goals, he had 5 of them. So he continues his goal scoring streak here by getting one here while he plays up a level. So that kid has come to play some serious hockey here in just day 1 of this event.
Morelli with a beautiful goal to give the Sens a 4-1 lead with 8:30 to play in this period, in this game. The dreaded 4-1 lead in a Leafs game, right? That's
Yep. Usually the Leafs have the 4-1 lead.
It's usually the Leafs that have the lead.
Yeah.
And somehow don't end up with the W. There's a shot that just goes wide.
Tyler and Amy Burke getting a shout out from mom and dad from Ottawa.
And Phil Coleman saying, well done, Ruby. And England are winning as well. Yeah, England playing in a European qualifier game against Albania. England leading their table right now, so that's good for us English football fans. There's a shot that just goes wide. My mom's side of the family's from England. My grandfather born in Newcastle, so it's like in our blood that we have to pay attention. I love it though. But England with a new head coach and an entirely new look for that squad after coming agonizingly close in the last couple of Euros and World Cups to actually winning a trophy for once, but still looking for their first since the 60s when they hosted the World Cup and then won the World Cup. Just that one star, that lone, lonely star on their jersey.
I'm not really big into like football. It never really appealed to me. That kind of football.
Have you watched Welcome to Wrexham yet?
No, but I heard it's amazing.
It is. And that'll get you into it.
Yeah, eh? If it doesn't, I'm citing false advertising.
Play into the Sens zone. They lead 4-1 with 6.5 to go. Puck stuck right in front of the Sens bench, but digging that one out, Matt Babineau. He's had a good game. Babineau tripped up now, right at center ice. That's going to be a power play coming up for the Sens whenever the Leafs touch the puck. There's a shot in, big save, rebound chance denied as well. Wow, Prevost had to make a quick stop there on that one.
Had to make a quick stop on that one, and now you'll have to be a good penalty killer here as the Leafs are going to find themselves down 2 minutes or less. And the Sens going back to the power play here in a game in which they've looked dangerous most of the game and have nullified any and all chances that the Leafs have tried to get in a 4-1 lead so far with under just over 5.5 minutes left.
And again, the Sens will take on the Habs first thing tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Then the Canucks host the Leafs at 10 a.m. And that's for the Open Division. And then all 4 of those teams finish off the festivities tomorrow with Habs and Leafs at 5 and Canucks and Sens at 6.
Yeah, then we'll have a gold medal and a bronze medal game on Sunday between the, well, we don't know which teams yet, but
that's right.
That's why they got to play the games.
And they will also be the finals of the select division. That game at 12:30. And the select division are the players who are hoping to play for the Canadian national team when they take on the U.S. national team in Montreal next month. That puck just whistling wide of the net off the stick of Gobey. And that was some fantastic hockey earlier today. I mean, you talk about skill level. I mean, those men and women were really going hard at it. Again, for an opportunity to represent your country on a huge stage.
Absolutely huge stage. Anytime that you can represent your country in general, pull that jersey over your head, they say.
50 seconds to go in this penalty. The Leafs down by a player, down by 3 on the scoreboard. Check that. Yeah, 3 on the scoreboard. 4-1 for the Sens here. And now the Leafs shorthanded going towards the net. Shot off the stick of Foxcroft just wide. Picked up on the far side boards by Hansman. Hansman trying to feed it to the middle. He's got Foxcroft with him. Remember, the Leafs are shorthanded for another 17 seconds, but they can't really adhere to that. They need some goals here.
Yeah, they don't look like the shorthanded team right now. Sure, they're not getting much traffic to the net, but I mean, they haven't allowed the Sens to set up shop in their own zone either.
Yeah, this has been a really good penalty kill for the Leafs. No doubt. Foxcroft. Hansman. Hansman from a sharp angle. Foxcroft right there. Cannot get the puck to settle down on his stick. Now Hansman behind the net brings it out in front. Backhanded chance. And David Brown with another save.
Yeah, Brown's been stifling the Leafs at every chance he's gotten, looking like a vintage Patrick Lalime back in the day with the Ottawa Senators, you know, just making save after save anytime that the Leafs have gotten any zone possession time, which hasn't been a lot, but he's been standing his ground, only letting one get by him to this point.
So the power play is over. Back to 5-on-5. And the Leafs with seemingly some momentum now, but the clock is ticking against them. 2.5 to play in this third period. The Leafs win the draw. Played back to Tyler Burke. Into the middle to Foxcroft. Now to the left side, loose puck. They're looking for it in the skates. And it gets sent to the left side corner. Foxcroft keeps it in. He's had a couple of good shifts in a row here, Foxcroft has. And that puck takes a weird deflection, and it comes out. Now with speed going the other way, Aiden McCowan. McCowan, he's got Babineau with him. Feeds it to Babineau. He can't settle the puck to get a shot on net. Under 2 minutes to play now as the puck comes loose out of the zone. And the Leafs now going in on a 2-on-0. But then they couldn't keep the momentum going forward, and now the Sens on the back check are able to break up the play. Lucas Barrenwright coming in. Curtis Ruddle there. That one chipped along the boards. Gourlay trying to hold it in. Gourlay with the lone goal for the Leafs in this contest with 1:15 to play. Sens pick it up. To the blue line, shoveled back in by Hillary Scanlon. Played behind the net by Adam Young. Looking to clear it, and they will. 1 minute to go, and the Sens in control. Which should also give them a lot of momentum going into tomorrow morning's contest as well, as they've got the Habs on deck. The Habs also winning their game earlier today against the Canucks. .25 seconds to go. Poke check made. Puck at the far side boards. Gia Morielli lost the control of the puck. Hansman coming in. Hansman trying to feed that one ahead. Couldn't complete the pass to Nathan Tree. It comes out of the zone. Foxcroft with 2 seconds to go, and this one comes to an end. The Sens with a 4-1 lead over the Leafs. And they score twice in the first period, once in the second, and once more in the third. And just completely stifle the Leafs. Great job defensively by the Sens.
Yeah, the Sens defense started the second that the Leafs got the puck on their stick, and that usually started in the neutral zone where they weren't giving up much space. You called it earlier, Matt, but they were just suffocating the Leafs in the neutral zone. And then when it came time to get the chances on net in the offensive zone, the Leafs were kind of a one-and-done team. They couldn't really get anything going, whereas the Sens, you know, they get down to the Leaf zone and just absolutely stifle them and absolutely, you know, cycle the puck really well, play with pressure, and only so much you can do out, you know, with that much pressure, eventually you're going to buckle and break.
Yeah, and so the Leafs, some tactics to work on when they take on the Canucks at 10 a.m. tomorrow, while the Sens will try to keep the momentum rolling against the Habs. That game at 9 o'clock in the morning. But before we get there, we've got the Masters division. The first time ever we've got a 45-plus age group taking to the ice at the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament. So stay tuned to the YouTube page. Courtney Kenny and Ben Long on the call for that one. That should be a ton of fun. Don't go anywhere. More on the way. We thank you so much for joining us, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll talk to you real soon.